Let's get more now from our international affairs commentator, Doug Herbert. Doug, the EU sees this as a fence-mending mission with an important ally. What will be the biggest priority, do you think, for the EU leaders as they sit down for talks with President Erdogan?
Well, one of the priorities, Tom, will simply be getting through these talks, having the talks. EU officials have pointed out, as they see it, this isn't a moment for negotiations with Turkey, with which the EU has had very strained relations in recent months and years, to say the least. It's really just a chance for both sides, as the EU sees it, to lay out their terms for how to reach improved ties. Now, those ties reached a real low point in nadir last summer. You might remember Turkey sent Navy ships to back up an oil and natural gas drilling operation in contested waters in the eastern Mediterranean, right near Cyprus. That's an EU member. That oil drilling has been a real flashpoint in the relationship. The Turkish ships did leave shortly afterwards, but since then, there has been a sense, in going into these talks as they sit down, that there is a more moderate tone, perhaps a more constructive tone coming out of Ankara. Angela Merkel said to favor a more conciliatory approach. Turkey once again actually talking to Greece, a longtime foe, in face-to-face talks. So all of this is positive, but they do have things that they instantly and urgently need to work out. So one of the big priorities, Tom, will be the refugee issue. Turkey has been accused of weaponizing refugees. There are 4 million of them right now on Turkish soil. You might remember in 2016, the now sort of notorious deal in which the EU paid Turkey 6 billion euros to essentially keep, it was essentially a bribe to keep those refugees in Turkey, not let them get to Europe after what we saw in 2015 with almost 1 million refugees taking the Western Baltic route, ending up in Germany. So EU paying off Turkey right now, there's going to be a lot of hard talk about refugees and whether or not, Erdogan, is he going to use the refugees once again as pawns in this assertive of foreign policy? And finally, Cyprus. You mentioned it, but it remains a divided island. Turkey has recently said that it is not in any way, shape, or form going to sit by and let reunification happen. Turkey controls the northern third of Cyprus. It's the Turkish part of Cyprus. And there are going to be talks later this month underway on the status of Cyprus in the future. So that will probably be a very big issue at these talks.
Yeah, these talks aren't without their risks, though, are they, for the European delegation there in Ankara? What would you say the biggest risks are?
The biggest risk is Europe coming across as a pushover, as being wimpy, as basically acceding to Turkey's demands, because being seen as they're so desperate, perhaps, to strike another refugee deal with Turkey. The cash has run out, those 6 billion euros. A lot of it, Turkey says, never even got to it. It says, will the EU basically take out its checkbook, write Turkey a blank check to keep those refugees in Turkey at the price of Turkey being able to basically do whatever it wants. It's come under fierce criticism, both in the Europe and in the U.S. for backsliding on democracy, on the rule of law, on crushing independent judiciary, on crushing independent journalists and the media, basically widespread arrests, violent crackdown on dissent, including student demonstrations. So all of this, human rights, democracy, the rule of law, will the EU blink and look the other way in the name of trying to resolve its pressing needs over refugees and even the Cyprus issue? So a lot of people are saying, how will it strike that fine balance? We know that Erdogan is very adept and very savvy at having a very assertive and unilateral foreign policy all over the map. Can Europe do the same and stand up for its own values? That's a big question going into these talks.